going on dates with guys that were really nice, but the chemistry wasn't there, made me feel guilty when I'd end things with them. I never could let them pay for me if it was a one-off date. I even agreed to be someone's girlfriend once, went on a few dates over the course of a month, felt so guilty when the chemistry didn't happen that I tried to offer to pay him back for the dates and flowers. He didn't let me pay back because he was really nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in the past, I've never dated a stranger in my life. They've always been like a male friend that I met through school or whatnot, or someone I knew from family friends. Mm-hmm. And so I knew who they were nice, and maybe they'd take me on a date, and I just didn't feel the chemistry. Mm-hmm. And it's not a matter of like, I care so much about, 50-50 split the bill. I don't care, but I do feel bad. Like when I realize after this dinner, I don't want to do anything else with you, like I don't want to pursue this, then I don't want to let them pay for me. I mean, obviously this is in the past. I'm married now. And yeah, I've even gone to a dinner date and I didn't even end up eating because I felt so bad. But I just didn't want to reject them. I mean, I'm older now, so I'm more mature now. So, but they were so nice, and I thought, it's potentially I'd be willing to try it out. But yeah, that's the thing is I don't feel like I don't feel entitled to people buying me dinner when I realize like the chemistry is not there and we're not going to do it again.
That's true. I agree.
I don't feel entitled to that.
Well,
I've never felt that way.
So this guy that you said with guys, so this has happened to you multiple times, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And were these attractive guys?
Yes.
They were nice?
Yeah.
Treated you well?
Yeah.
But there wasn't chemistry?
Yeah.
So what does that even mean,
right.
chemistry?
Yeah. That's the thing. There's really no way to simply explain chemistry. I guess to simplify it, we'll just say attraction. Because somebody
But
could
you
have...
said they were physically attractive. And they were
People
pleasant.
can be very physically attractive, but for some reason, it's just not clicking. And
There's no
that's
click.
true.
Well,
you see gorgeous women
not from
all
the
the
male
time.
perspective.
Okay.
Not from the male perspective.
Yeah, I'm interested to hear
from
your
the female perspective. You hear this shit all the time.
thing.
Right.
He was the perfect package. He was good looking,
Well, not
attractive,
perfect,
had a job, good personality.
Right.
But just there wasn't the chemistry,
Right.
there wasn't the vibe, there wasn't the click.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah, this is women's desire for a guy who treats them poorly, essentially.
No, actually, what it was...
It is.
No, actually...
Yes, it is.
First of all, no.
Yes.
I was very young. I was 17 years old, 18 years old, and I realized that if I was going to be in a relationship that would one day develop into marriage, that's a long time to spend with somebody when you're that young, because you don't get married at 18, 19, 20. So I didn't want to waste their time. And what did I do? I paid for my meal. I didn't make them pay for me. So I think that's the polite thing to do. I just think
I don't have
that's
any
an
objections.
uncommon.
I don't have objections.
I just think that's an uncommon thing, because an uncommon thing is even I've noticed a lot of like hardcore feminists still think that their meal should be paid for these guys, and they owe them nothing. And I'm not talking about an exchange of carnal knowledge or anything crazy like that, but I just personally think if the date doesn't work out, and in your heart you're not feeling it, okay? It happens. Big deal. Big whoop. Cry about it. It happens. I think it is polite to pay your own bill and not make them pay for you. I just think that's super rude. And I would never be able to just let them pay.
Okay, but I'm not really trying to argue the whole money component to this. I'm more so interested in this whole, like, he's attractive, he's pleasant, good personality, treats you well.
Yes.
But there's just not that click, the vibe, the chemistry.
So
even if their personalities, they're not like weird, or they're good people.
Well, don't
good
you have
men.
people you're not friends with because you guys just don't vibe?
What?
Like there's a group of people that
We're talking about dating.
I know, but it's the same thing, human interaction. Like you and I, we wouldn't hang. Okay, like I'm gonna do a girl. I don't know. There's you and I, like I don't know. Okay, I don't want to be paying anybody out, but there's certain people you just you don't vibe with. You don't hang out with. It's not that they're bad people or there's something wrong about them. You just don't click. That's why there's cliques in school. That's why there's same.
This actually isn't true. So I mean, at least from the male perspective. So I mean, I can let you finish if I didn't mean to cut you off. If you want.
Well, no, I agree with her. It happened to me like recently where I met up with someone and I'm like, oh, I already know, and I ended up paying for myself because
You already knew.
There wasn't a chemistry. A click.
What do you do to create the click, the vibe, the chemistry? Because it always seems like it's the men that have to be conducting themselves in a certain way
No,
in
it's
order
not
to
necessarily
elicit
actually
that.
obnoxious. It's actually obnoxious. I think
What's obnoxious?
it's obnoxious when people are just, and I know it happens, and I understand why people do it, but that people are so formal and fake during dates. Now, I'm all for formality and all that, but no, you don't need to conduct yourself in a certain way.
That's not what I'm saying. That's
You-
not what I'm saying.
I think he's
but
asking like, what do we do in order to create chemistry?
See,
I
because
think
the
make
vibe
jokes-
and
you make
the
jokes
chemistry,
with
the
somebody.
vibe is only something that is elicited by the male.
No.
No.
You make jokes with him. And
Because
let's say he doesn't
it's
get
you
your
guys
humor.
it's
That's
you
the
guys
thing,
who
that's the
feel
thing.
Like
no it's because it's you guys who feel the chemistry or the click or the vibe.
You know, when you're making eye contact with somebody when you're on a date, and then you just feel something. You either do or you don't.
So you wouldn't date a guy whose eye contact was weak then?
You're so funny, and you're really good. You're really good at
He
breaking
knows
these
what you
things.
mean.
You're really good at breaking these things down. But the truth is, if I just picked the first guy that I went on a date with, because I've never gone on a date with a weird guy ever, and I didn't date a lot, but they were my friends, and I gave them a chance because they were interested, and I
Didn't
didn't
you
want
say
to be
you were in
rude.
favor of arranged marriage? What if there's no
Yeah.
chemistry or the click or the vibe in an arranged marriage?
This is a different subject.
Right, but
and I actually
but this-
think that.
But let
in
me
that
ask you a
case-
question.
Sure.
Hold on. Have
Okay.
you ever had amazing chemistry, amazing vibe, amazing click with a guy who a week, a month, 3 months, a year down the road was a terrible fucking person and treated you like shit?
Yeah.
So is it
I'm not arguing. I'm
Does-
not arguing that you should only.
100%.
right?
I'm
but
not
you
arguing
pick-
that
you-
connection is what makes a healthy marriage. That is a way bigger
Right, but why
subject.
can't that just be something that develops?
be.
I didn't feel that in 5 minutes.
Oh, yeah, it
so I'm
can.
gonna go chase the
You're
guy
arguing
who
with a
can.
wall right
but
now.
hold on, the guy who's capable of eliciting the chemistry, the click, the vibe. He can elicit that in all the other women too. So women will overlook the guy who's actually good for them, right match, because there's not this like vague, ethereal
No.
chemistry click vibe.
I'm thinking
What are you
also
talking
physical. I
about?
think
Did
you
that
should be
happen to you?
physical attraction.
That's not what I'm saying. Okay.
what are you talking
Women
about?
will frequently say he was perfect in every way, good looking,
I wasn't
you know, physically good looking, body good, face good, good personality, nice, has a job, no red flags, everything. But despite this, I still wasn't attracted to him. You can't point me to a man who's like, she's beautiful. Beautiful. She was into me, really into me,
Yeah.
really into me. Great personality, wonderful personality, big tits, big ass, whatever it is. But I just didn't. She was a
Okay.
10 out of 10 in looks, and she had her shit together, and she had a pleasant personality. She was submissive, but I just didn't feel there
Right.
wasn't the click. I
Right.
didn't feel. I
And-
said
and-
no man ever.
And what? So women and men are different, okay? I mean, men and women are different.
Wait,
That's
were
just
you
the truth.
attracted? I'm sorry,
Brian,
were
that
you
is
attracted
just
to
the
this guy physically or no?
Right,
I
but
mean,
there's this component. There is this trope of women being attracted to like the bad boys, the jerks,
Okay, you want
the
to bring that
assholes.
up. That's interesting subject to bring up. Definitely, yeah, that's real because nothing that's too perfect. I'm just saying it's hard to be attracted to something that's too perfect. You need a little bit of rough around the edges, and some people don't
Why?
like that because it's dynamic, you know. And life is long, and you want to be with someone that's can be hot and cold and interesting. I don't mean
I don't want that.
that's okay.
I feel like that's
I don't,
more being toxic.
Let me walk that back. Hot and cold. I don't mean bipolar disorder. I just mean someone that will challenge you sometimes. And I don't like men, yes dear men. For me that doesn't work. And I know you're upset about that because you're saying that's not fair because these men are so perfect and these women still don't feel it. But there's a lot of women out there and there's a lot of men out there. You can. Sometimes it's going to work and sometimes it's not.
I have a question.
And it can be unfortunate. Yeah,
I
it's
actually think this is a pathology among women, this attraction to bad boys, jerks, assholes.
Sure.
It's absolutely
What's
a
wrong with
pathology.
that?
You guys should see therapists. Just
What's
saying.
wrong with that? What's wrong with that?
It's very toxic.
What's wrong with that?
So you spend your 20s fucking the
No,
jerks,
don't
bad
say
boys,
that.
asshole. That's what happens. And then you
not
wait
in my
until you're
case at
30.
all.
You settle for a nice guy, and then you ultimately resent him because he can't excite you in the ways that you've wired your brain to be excited in all your past relationships. Your pair bonding is absolutely scuffed. And then you end up divorcing him after a couple of years.
That's horrible. Why are you telling such a
This
sad
happens
story?
all the
This is
time.
like a really
This
sad
is-
rom-com.
This
That's how
happens.
it goes.
Yeah,
this
this
happens
is so common.
all
It
the
is,
time.
Yeah.
it is unfortunate. I don't live in La La Land, but I mean, what are you going to do? Like, what are you going to do?
Like, I have a
What are you going to
question
do
for
about
you.
it?
How
I mean,
about-
we can
There's
just
so
talk
much you can
about
do.
it. I'm just
Don't-
saying.
I mean-
So what you're saying is, if I go back in time when I'm 18 years old, 17 years old.
Oh, you can't
and
do
I was-
anything now.
And I was on a date with a friend, a male friend, who asked me out, and I wanted to see, if it could go somewhere. I chose not to. I paid him back for the dinner, or I paid for my half or whatever, and we kind of remained awkward friends until he drifted away because he didn't really like that. I mean, what of it? Like, what's the big deal? Should I go back in time and be with him? Is that the right thing to do?
that you can
Just because he's
anymore.
lovely? I mean, seriously.
Well, I'm speaking in
question.
generalities here.
Okay.
I'm noticing a trend.
And so,
You obviously can't go back and go select the guy who was perfect in every way, but there just wasn't the chemistry, the vibe,
Yeah.
Also, frankly, I don't even know what that really means. Further, it can be something that develops over time.
I actually
It's essentially, do you
agree.
guys believe that's essentially love at first sight?
No, I know what you're saying, and I agree. And I actually do think that for a lot of people, arranged marriages would be a good option. And no, you're not going to
Okay,
get into an
here.
arranged marriage and immediately be attracted to someone. I think that it growing is healthy because that connection, sweet, like that
But
kind
would
of
you
thing,
say-
does not make a marriage last.
Let me
not
ask-
even a little. It's
yeah,
not
yeah,
about
cool.
the
That's
emotional
cool.
connection.
So let me ask the whole panel here some questions. Do you think if a girl had a standard of, I have to fall in love with him within 5 minutes of meeting, is that a reasonable standard?
No.
Right. Okay, so if we're looking at the spectrum of he's super boring on this end, and love at first sight on this end, click chemistry vibe within 5 minutes is somewhere maybe not precisely in the middle. So you're getting on the spectrum of just being delusional in your expectations of men.
No, it
because you're
works.
rejecting men who would otherwise be good partners
No, it
because they
works.
weren't able to trigger something in you immediately.
But
That's why you
I
keep
think
ending
more
up with
so-
fuck boys and jerks and assholes.
No, it's
because the
not
guys
true.
who are capable of eliciting, look, there are good guys who can
aren't you
elicit this
married?
too.
I am married.
This is not a precise criticism of her. It's just a
I know that.
It's
No,
a more
yes.
broad, generalized statement here. So, yeah, you guys have this expectation that there's like a click that needs to be instantaneous. Well, why? Why does there need to be an instantaneous click?
I was more
You-
so
You
thinking.
told
I was more so
You otherwise-
speaking about like physical attraction. So you were physically attracted. I'm talking about physical. I think we should
Well, yeah,
be
if you're not
attracted. So
physically attracted, but
When I met
but
my
women will
husband, I
say
didn't have
he's
that
good
click.
looking, he's got a
Yeah, that's a
job,
little
he treats
different.
me well, et cetera, et
Yeah.
cetera, et cetera. He's not weird or creepy or anything. He's just like maybe a bit dull or whatever.
yeah.